Hi, so welcome to the stream today and welcome to our discussion for the July 2025 examination, focusing on the key issues that we need to look out for in order to help us position ourselves to pass the examination. We've looked at the issue in respect of financial reporting and public sector. On the stream today, we want to get excited looking at management accounting and also looking at the issue about. Give me a second. Can you end that? Okay, thanks. So we want to focus our discussion today on management accounting and strategic case study and provide you with some blueprint on the structure of the examination, the syllabus, the topic arrangement, and then how you can study the subjects to enable you to pass the examination. If there are any questions, something you want me to share my thought on, you can put it in the comment section or the chat box. I'm going to be answering your questions for you. Remember that our registration is still ongoing for the July 2025 examination. Our live lectures will be starting on the 7th of April 2025, but you can register now and start studying with our previous videos, with our summary videos, to put you in the position to ultimately pass the examination. Remember, as I say always, it is important to start studying on time, break down the session into smaller sessions to ensure that you're able to go through the syllabus and look at the various things that you must understand to put you in the position to ultimately pass the examination. So let me bring up my screen quickly and then we can get excited into the discussion today. So we are going into management accounting. Now, when it comes to management accounting, this is an interesting paper. It is one of the papers with the lowest pass rate. Generally, one of the papers with the lowest pass rate. Now, it is not because the paper is difficult. It is because of the way the subject is structured. And so stay with me because I'm going to give you a breakdown of what you need to look out for in the exam hall, how the syllabus is structured, and most importantly, how you can study to optimize your chances of passing the management accounting examination as you head into the exam. The first thing we need to look at is the examination. What should we expect in the exam hall when it comes to management accounting? What is it that the examiner is going to be getting excited on when it comes to management accounting? Generally, as with other papers, we're going to be having a written or comments, or if you want, theory questions. And then we also going to be having some calculation, or if you want, computational questions. And so certainly we will have some written comments and then some calculation and computational questions. Let me show you what happened in March 2025. So in March 2025, this is the question paper for the management accounting examination. Just break it down so that you understand what is happening. Then we'll come back to it and then refer you to it to see what exactly you have to look out for. So question 1, as always, was on performance measurement. So 20 marks, and the examiner wanted students to use financial performance, competitiveness, internal efficiency, and external efficiency to evaluate the performance of the organization. In that case, so this is like relying on the Fitzgerald and Moon building block, but you are bringing together a lot of concepts in there for 20 marks. So you are using the information to analyze and discuss the performance of the organization. So technically here, you're not going to be doing any calculation. You are going to be writing because you are writing an analysis. And so it means that written part, because you are writing an analysis and doing a discussion, that's 20 marks there. You're not doing any calculation in this case, just writing an analysis there. But I'm not too much excited about that question 1 area because it could be written and calculation. In the March 2025 examination, it was purely written question when it comes to that question 1 area, performance measurement. But let's go to question 2. Question 2, the examiner got excited and asked students to explain 8 stages involved in the budgeting process in a manufacturing organization. That's 10 marks. Now, I want you to keep that in mind very well. B aspect was to identify 5 criticisms of budgeting. That's also 5 marks. Then the C aspect of that question said, explain 4 limitations of the efficient implementation of lean production. That's also 5 marks. And so that whole question 2 area is 20 marks. Theory, 20 marks. Hold on. Question 3 was for variance analysis. And then there's an ethics question or 5-mark question here. I mean, I have to tend the scripts, but I wouldn't tend. So what are the circumstances under which benchmarking can be effective model for evaluating the performance? So that's 5 marks. Now remember, we had 20 from question 2. Okay. So question 2 gave us 20. Then question 3 is giving us 5 plus ethics, making 10. Sorry, not ethics. Discuss with example 4 categories of environmental cost. That's 10 marks. So question 3 is giving us 15 marks on theory. Please stay with me carefully because structure of the question is important. You need to understand the structure of the questions so you know what to expect in the exam, and most importantly, how you're going to position yourself as you study mentally and what you would do when you get to the exam hall. Then we go to question 4. Question 4 also had the A aspect talking about project appraisal in the public sector using the best cost benefit or benefit to cost ratio in that case. But the B aspect is what we are interested in. Explain the 3 E's of public management accounts. Okay, 3 marks. The application of controllability principle, identify the cost center, who is responsible for the adverse, 5 marks. So another theory here, 8 marks coming from question 4. So Q4, 8 marks. Then we go to the last part of the exam, that's question 5. The A aspect of question 5 was about a short-term decision, 8 marks here. Then there is a 4 marks here, and then that's it. So question 5 gave us 4 marks on the theory here. And so if you add it together, in the March 2025 examination, the theory questions were what? 20 plus 15, 35, plus 12 will be 47. So 47 marks of the question were theory. Now, if I should add the question 1, which was purely analyzing, because we are analyzing the performance of the entity. So you are not doing any calculation, you are writing. So if I should add that to it, then you realize that writing alone is giving 67 marks. 67. You are not doing any calculation, you are just writing. Then the ones that will require you to do any calculation, 33%. And that is the first thing you must understand when it comes to the management accounting examination in the ICAG exam. Now, it does not mean every time it's going to be like this, but that is what I want you to understand. That in the exam hall, when it comes to management accounting, we are going to have written, comment, or theory questions. Then we also going to be having some calculation or computational questions. That's what you need to understand. So last semester, minimum 47. If I should add a question 1 to it, then it will make it 67. And that is how the examiner is going to be dancing. It depends on the examiner's option or what he wants to do. Sometimes we may have 35, 65. Sometimes you may have 28 or 30, 70. But what you must understand is that in every management accounting examination, we're going to be having theory. Why? Because there are a lot of written aspects in management accounting. There are a lot of written aspects in management accounting. A lot. Under each of the topics, there are a lot of theories there. So as you are doing the calculation, you should be doing the theories alongside. As you are doing the calculation, you are doing the theories alongside. But that is the first thing you must understand, the structure of the exam. Some theories will be there, calculations will be there. Why is this important? This is important because it then sets you up to let you understand that when you are learning management accounting, it's not just about the calculations. It's not just about punching. It's not just about solving questions, but equally about reading and learning to write out your answers. That's very important, because if we don't know what the examiner is going to be doing to us in the exam hall and how we have to study to be prepared for it, then we are not going to be in the position to pass the examination. That's the first thing we must understand, the structure of the exam. Some written, comment, theories, and some calculation questions coming up. The second thing is to get ourselves into the structure of the syllabus when it comes to management accounting. So what is the structure of the management accounting syllabus? Let me quickly bring this up from the syllabus directly. So the syllabus is divided into this 6 groups or 6 categories. 6. We have the contemporary issues. We have budgeting. We have management, decision-making techniques. We have short-term decisions coming up. We have performance measurement. And then we have management accounting in the public sector. So this is the breakdown of our syllabus. But you see, before we get goosebumps, all right, to get into what is in the syllabus, it is important we understand that there are some basic principles we must understand when it comes to management accounting. In other words, before you get into each examination in management accounting, these basic principles, you must understand them. Why is this important? Because these basic principles are not in the syllabus. They are not in the management accounting syllabus. Why? Because the examiner expects you to have known them from level 1, introduction to management accounting, or from your degree or whatever the heck you are coming up with. And so the basic principles must be known first before you come into what is in the syllabus. So what are these basic principles or topics that we must know about when it comes to management accounting? The first one is what we refer to as accounting for overheads. This is important because this is going to be running through under variance analysis, under preparation of cost sheet and cost card. So accounting for overheads and absorption of overheads is a fundamental topic you must know about. Number 2 is the preparation of the cost sheet and the cost card as well as the profit statement. So cost sheet and profit statement. Again, you will not find these in your management accounting syllabus, but they are things you are expected to know before you get excited into the management accounting level 2 discussions. Why is this important? Because this is where you're going to be getting excited to look at the various costing techniques. All right, such as marginal costing, okay, absorption costing, and then activity-based costing. Now, activity-based costing is in the syllabus. You will see that under models of evaluation in the session A aspect of the syllabus. But activity-based costing feeds into the preparation of the cost sheet or the cost card, accounting for overheads. Then the profit statement comes in because there is a way we prepare the profit statement in the marginal costing environment. There is a way we prepare the profit statement in the absorption costing environment. And so you must understand how we deal with the cost sheet cost card preparation. Now, the reason why the preparation of the cost sheet or the cost card is important is because the costing methods must be known. Okay, only that, you may not study this, but you should know some of these things offhand, like job costing, batch costing, service costing, those kind of things. So under each of these costing methods, how do we estimate the cost of a product, of a job, of an activity, of a service? Generally, right? So you are expected to know these costing methods. And whatever it is the company is into, if they are rendering services, then service costing will come in. If they are just doing a one-time job, then job costing will come in for the entity. So sometimes you may see a question and the examiner will say, prepare the cost sheet for the job XYZ. That is job costing, but you are just preparing the cost sheet using either the marginal costing principle or the absorption costing principle, depending on the context of the question. And so preparation of the cost sheet and the profit statement, it's an important concept you need to understand. Most importantly here is the concept of marginal costing and absorption costing. Why? Because when you get to short-term decisions, everything you are doing there, you are going to be using the marginal costing principles. When you get to budgeting, variance analysis, you're going to be coming back with marginal costing and absorption costing principles. So before you get goosebumps to begin to look at what is in your management accounting level 2, paper 2.2 in the syllabus, it is important you are able to understand these basic principles. Not only that, number 3, you thought I was done? Nope. Number 3 is the concept of high and low method. And the reason why this concept is important is because of this topic, cost classification. That's another topic. Now, cost can be classified according to the behavior, according to function, according to nature, those kinds of things, right? So the topic cost classification, you must know about it. Again, it is not in your management accounting syllabus, but you have to know about it before you get into the exam hall. Now, when you are doing cost classification, this is where you'll be able to know, we have fixed cost, variable cost, step cost. Then when the total cost is given to you, how do you split the total cost into its fixed component and the variable component? That is where we use the concept of high and low method. And the high and low method principle is important because it is applicable in the preparation of the cost sheet or the cost card, but also can be called on under budgeting when we are preparing the flex budget or preparing the budget of the entity. And so you must understand cost classification according to behavior, according to function, according to nature, because all of those things will knit all of these together. That's what you need to understand. And so when it comes to management accounting, before you start dabbling with these things in the syllabus, you have to ask yourself, do I understand cost classification? Am I good with the high and low method principle? Okay, do I understand marginal costing, absorption costing, over absorption of overheads, under absorption of overheads? Do I understand how to deal with activity-based costing where we are absorbing the overheads based on the cost drivers and cost units using that concept? Do I understand that? Can I prepare the cost sheet or the cost card? Can I prepare the profit statement using the marginal costing or absorption costing principle? Am I comfortable dealing with accounting for overheads, preparation of the overhead analysis sheet? Do I understand these things? And the beauty of this is that we have the videos available on all of these things already on our portal in the mobile application, right? So for those of you who are studying and getting access to our material, we have videos breaking down with practice questions on all of these fundamental issues that you need to understand before we get excited into the main syllabus. And that is how I always open up my management accounting class, because we need to go back and get the foundation well, then we can build on that foundation. So to pass the management accounting examination, I don't care who the heck you are, you must make sure before you get excited into anything in the syllabus directly, you want to make sure you understand these topics: accounting for overhead, preparation of the cost sheet or the cost card, application of the marginal costing, absorption costing, and activity-based costing. Then certainly the issue in respect of the cost classification and application of the high and low method. That is important. You must understand this. Now, once we are okay with these methods, the next thing is then to come back and look at what we have directly in the syllabus. Okay? We need to come back to look at what we have directly in the syllabus. And so the first part of the syllabus is the contemporary approach to management accounting. Now, that area is a huge area. There are a lot of things there. Permit me to quickly just draw your attention to them in the syllabus. Quickly. Close your eyes. So if you feel dizzy, sorry. I thought I had opened it already, but no. Okay, so we go. So in the conceptual framework, contemporary approaches area, there are a lot of theories there, materials there that the examiner wants you to read. Broadly, what you need to understand is that when it comes to the contemporary issues, three things: ethics, ethics, models of evaluation, and then environmental issues. Sustainability, and environmental issues. Let me write well. And environmental issues. Broadly, that's what we are talking about in this key area here. And IT. I'll just put it there, IT. So that's what the contemporary issues are talking about. Now, there are a couple of calculation issues there, like throughput accounting. So you look at something like throughput accounting. Yes, it's a calculation area, right? So throughput, there are calculations there. Activity-based costing, there are calculations there. So aside the throughput and the activity-based costing, the rest of the things here are reading areas that you must know about. So ethics, yes, in management accounting, we have ethics. The same issues you know from ethics if you have learned ethics before in your degree or HND or whatever the heck. Ethics, right? So the fundamental code of conduct that management accountants must adhere to: integrity, being honest and straightforward; objectivity, not allowing bias or conflict of interest to impair professional judgment; confidentiality, not disclosing essential information to third parties without a client permission or the employer's permission; then competence and due care, professional competence and due care, having the requisite knowledge, experience, and expertise to be able to do the job and carrying the job in the manner that is expected; then professional behavior, behaving in a manner that is acceptable in order not to bring shame or disgrace to the profession as a whole. So ethical issues, You must know that. Then models of evaluation. This is where there are a lot of issues that you must understand there. Again, this is a written area. It's a reading area. So apart from throughput and activity-based costing, which you will do, the activity-based costing, you will look at it in the introductory area. So that's out. So throughput, that's the calculation area that you will look at with some theories there. The rest of the things there are theories. So benchmarking, value chain analysis, re-engineering, business re-engineering, just-in-time system, and all of those things. Then sustainability and IT. Because remember, environmental issues are becoming important. So if you look at last semester, for instance, you will see the structure of the exam and the way the examiner sets the question. So you look at question number 3C last semester for 10 marks. Look at what the examiner asked. Discuss with examples 4 categories of environmental cost. And that is coming from the models of evaluation under environmental management accounting that you must know about. And so it is important you understand these things. Then some IT issues, how IT development and those things have assisted or enabled the management accountant to be able to carry out his job or her job pretty well at the end of the day. So those are the 3 things. So under the contemporary issues, really, your headache, if I can, I'm air quoting that, okay? Your headache is going to be throughput accounting. It's not difficult, okay? But throughput accounting and then activity-based costing. That's all. Apart from these 2, that will be calculation. All the rest are reading, written aspect. So you have to read them. And that is the 15 marks area that will be seen in the exam hall under contemporary issues. So either the examiner will do purely theory with you on that contemporary issues, or some calculation and theory. What does that mean? It means you may see either ABC, right? Activity-based costing and some theories. Or you will see throughput accounting and some theories. Or you will see just theories like the examiner did in the March 2025 examination. But that is the first aspect of the syllabus, contemporary issues. Again, this, you will come here after you've dealt with the introductory issues or the basic topics. That's very important. So that's number 1, 15% contemporary issues. A lot of theories here to be read, 2 calculation issues that you have to be mindful of. Please note, don't say that, oh, Nhyira, when I read, I am somebody who waits. When the exam is getting closer or the day before the exam, that is why I start reading. Please don't do that. You must start reading. Don't lie to yourself that the day before the exam, you will start reading all the theories. Don't lie to yourself. Mix it up. Mix it up. So you got to be working, reading. Oh, Nhyira, the reading is a lot. So what do you want to do? What do you want? There's no shortcut. It's not like there is a way that you can learn these theories, value chain analysis. No, there is no way. You have to read them. And so if you don't enjoy reading so much, then our portal is going to help you. Why? Because we have the videos on all of these available. So you can watch the videos which have presented the theories on all of these areas in a very sweet, simple manner, so that you understand them as you go. Why? Because it's a 15 marks area that you need to be aware of. That is the first aspect of our syllabus, contemporary issues. The next is budgeting or budget and budgetary control. Okay, budget and budgetary control. That's the second part of the syllabus. This area also, in my opinion, is divided into 2 major groups. 2. We have the written part, which is a couple of theories, and there are a lot of them here in management accounting, in budgeting. And then the calculation part. Stay with me. Based on the syllables weighing, that is also 15%. So we expect to have a 15-mark question on budgeting. The breakdown is that we could have calculation. Now, the calculation has to do with preparation of a flexible budget. All right? A flexible budget. Or preparation of statement of budget performance. Now, the flex budget is where you are just, re-preparing the original budget, taking into consideration the actual activity that has been undertaken. We're going to look at this. There's a summary video about it as well in the mobile application. The statement of budget performance is where you are bringing your flexible budget, you bring your actual, then you get your variance. So you want to find out, based on the flex budget and the actual, is there an adverse variance or favorable variance? So the examiner can ask us something about that. The third thing is preparation of the functional budget. Preparation of functional budget. Now, the functional budget simply represents the budget of the various departments within the company. So we will have the sales budget, okay? We'll have the production budget. We have the material usage budget. We have the material cost budget. We have the labor usage budget, and then we have the labor cost budget. Then we'll have the manufacturing budget or whatever. So preparation of the functional budget. That's another calculation area that the examiner can ask you about when it comes to the management accounting. Then the last one there is the preparation of the master budget. Preparation of master budget. Now, the master budget is where we are preparing the budgeted cash flow, budgeted income statement, and budgeted statement of financial position. So when it comes to budgeting as a topic, these are the calculation areas. Four. Either we'll prepare flexible budget, prepare statement of budget performance, prepare functional budget, or prepare the master budget. In addition to these calculations, there are a couple of theories we need to be mindful of. And these include the importance or objectives of budgeting. Okay? The processes of budgeting. All right? The methods of budgeting. And this is where we are looking at the incremental cost budgeting method, okay? We are looking at zero-based budgeting. We are looking at activity-based budgeting, program-based budgeting, and all that. Methods of budgeting. Then some behavioral aspects of budgeting. These are the theories. Now, if you check in March 2025, what was there? Yes, the examiner brought a budgeting question, but it was a theory question. I think so. Not question 5. I think question 2. Yeah, question 2. Look at it. So 8 stages involved in the budgeting process, 5 criticism of budgeting. So the entire 15 marks, theories on budgeting. Theories. So if you're a student who did not read these theories in budgeting and you were just focusing on the calculation, au revoir mon ami for you. And that is the beauty of management accounting. I know you're going to say, Nhyira, how beautiful is this? It is beautiful. Why? Because this is the syllabus. You cannot prioritize the calculation over the written part. You cannot say, I'm going to prioritize the written part over the calculation. The two go hand in hand. Right? So that's it. So last semester, the 15-mark question, theories. If you go to November 2024, it was a calculation question the examiner brought on the budgeting. But in the March, he decided to just go ghost on theories. So all your budgeting baba calculation is au revoir, mesue. But those who learn shall pass the examination. And those who decide to focus on a portion of the syllabus shall fail the exam. It's as simple as that. And that is what you must understand about budgeting. Remember, my goal here is to let you understand what is in the syllabus, number one, and number two, the options, the choices available that the examiner can throw questions from. And that is what you need so that you know how to study and what to expect in the exam hall. So that's our 15 marks, budgeting. Then we go to C, which is management decision-making techniques. Management decision-making techniques. Usually, this is where you are dealing with the issues in respect of your variance analysis. Okay? Management decision-making techniques. So, management decision-making techniques. Technically, it's just dealing with variance analysis, okay? You're dealing with some variance analysis. Again, when it comes to variance analysis, it's divided into these two categories. Permit me to just copy this and take it to the next slide for us. There are theories and there are calculation aspects. So when it comes to the variance, what are the calculation issues we need to be mindful of? Number one, calculation of the basic variances. All right. Calculation of basic variances. So this is where the examiner is just cool on you, giving you something and say, hey, calculate the material price variance, material usage variance, labor rate variance, labor efficiency variance, overhead variance, sales variance, basic. No cost for alarm, nothing. The second part is calculation. Okay, calculation. But this time around, we are doing some advanced variances. So calculation of advanced variances. That's the second type of question that we need to know about. Now, what are the advanced variances? The advanced variances is where we are dealing with mix and yield variance. So when an entity is using more than one raw material or input to produce what they are producing, then we will be required to calculate the mix and the yield variance. Number two is when an entity is selling more than one product, they will be required to, split the sales volume variance into the sales quantity. Okay, the sales quantity and then the sales mix variance. The sales mix and the sales quantity variance. And so you are just separating the sales volume variance into these two. The material usage variance, when we separate it into the two, that is where we have the mix and yield variance. And those are the advanced variances that we can understand, and some other complex issues like the planning, other planning and operational variances, like material price planning variance. Okay, material price planning variance and some other variances. So those are advanced variances. The examiner can ask you questions about them. The third thing is where the examiner is working with you on the reversal approach. So it's still variances, but it's a reversal variance. What does that mean? It means that we have incomplete records, but we still want to analyze and find out whether the entity is doing what they are expected to do. And so in that case, we can be given the variance okay, and the actual data, then the examiner will say, using that, give me the standard. Yeah. Or the examiner will give you, because the normal one, which is the basic one I spoke about, is where you are giving the actual and the standard and you are calculating the variance. But here, what I'm saying is that the examiner gives you the variance and the actual data, then you are supposed to calculate the standard. Or number two, you are giving the variance with the standard, and the examiner says, hey, guess what? Give me the actual information. That's what you need to understand there. That's what I mean by the reversal approach. So the examiner can still go with you. Now, if you have done your basic variances well, the reversal approach should not be a problem for you. But it's a type of question that the examiner can bring to us in the exam hall. Then certainly the last thing under the calculation aspect is the preparation of the statement, the operating statement. So preparation of operating statement. All right? The preparation of operating statement. Now, what is this about? This is where you are bringing all the variances into one statement, either using the marginal costing principle or the absorption costing principle. So you see that you are under variances, but marginal costing and absorption costing is going to chase you down here. And that is the calculation aspect under variance analysis. So it depends on how excited the examiner is as you are going into the exam or in this examination diet. If the examiner wants to go calculation with you under the variances, then these are the options available. So when you are studying, you have to make sure you understand each of these. In addition to these calculations, there are some theories that we have to also be mindful of when it comes to the variance analysis. And the first one certainly is what we refer to as the types of standards. Okay. Now, there are 4 types of standards. We have basic standards, current standards, ideal standard, and attainable standards. Got to know them. Number 2 is to talk about the issue in respect of the processes involved in standard costing. So what are the processes involved? We need to establish the cost. We collect the actual information. We compare, and then we analyze the variance and take any remedial action that has to be taken. And so the processes involved very important. We need to know about that. Then the importance of standard costing, importance or objectives of standard costing. What do we use it for? It helps in stock evaluation. It helps in identifying efficient and inefficient areas in the entity's operation and all of those things. So you must understand the importance there. Then we come to the last part, which is the behavioral aspect of variances. Now, the behavioral aspect of variance is where we are dealing with why is the adverse variance favorable and what should a company do? And so in that environment, the examiner may ask you to calculate the variance and interpret the variance and advise the management what they are supposed to do. So you are calculating the variance, interpreting the variance, and advising the management on what they are supposed to do. Or the examiner will present you with the variances. Then he will ask you to interpret it to management. Oh, yeah. So that's the behavioral aspect. So if the material price variance is adverse, why is that? What are the possible causes for that? What should management do? If the labor efficiency variance is favorable, why is that? What should management do? Those are the behavioral aspects. So when it comes to the area in respect of this, these are the things that you must understand here in that particular case. And that is the third thing for us, management decision-making techniques. That also is 15% in our syllabus. 15%. And in that 15%, we have some calculations and the type of calculation questions we must be mindful of, and then the written areas. These are the things you must understand about that third part of the syllabus. At this point, the journey is getting interesting. We go to a 20% area of our syllabus. 20% area of our syllabus. And that is short-term decisions. That's 20% short-term decisions. That's a significant aspect of the syllabus, 20 marks. Always, the examiner is going to be getting excited for us. But there are a lot of short-term decisions that you have to be mindful of, a lot of them. Remember that under the short-term decisions, you are going to be applying the marginal costing principle. Okay? You're going to be applying the marginal costing principle. That is why your introduction is important, because you are applying the marginal costing principle in variance analysis. You get to short-term decisions, you're going to apply that. You get to performance management or performance measurement, you're going to also apply the marginal costing principle. But under short-term decisions, you are going to be applying the marginal costing principle here. Now, what are the short-term decisions you must be mindful of? The following are the various types of short-term decisions based on what the entity is seeking to do. So we have relevant cost analysis or relevant costing. So when an entity receives a one-off order or one-off contract, how do they determine the minimum price they can set or the minimum amounts they can charge the customer? We apply the relevant costing principle. So relevant costing. Number two is to talk about whether the entity should make a product in-house, which was what came last semester, make or buy. Should we make the product in-house or buy it from the outside? Number three, limiting factor analysis. How do we use the limited resources in order to maximize our profit? So limiting factor analysis is important. We must know about it. Number four is the concept of break-even analysis. A very important principle that we must know about. Number five is shutdown decision. There is a division or a segment of our business that is not doing well. Let's close it up. Let's shut it down. And what are the factors we consider before shutting it down? That's there. 6, outsourcing decisions. All right, outsourcing decisions. That's a theory area. What factors do we take into consideration before outsourcing to a third party and all of those things? We must understand them. And so when it comes to the short-term decisions, it's a lot. One of them will be in the exam hall, or you have one of them as a calculation. Then there is an extra one that the examiner could bring as a theory aspect to get that 20 marks question coming up for us under the short-term decision. So relevant costing, make or buy, break even analysis, limiting factor analysis, shutdown decision, pricing decisions. Okay, pricing decisions. These are some of the things we must understand here for 20 marks. Remember, each of these we are applying the marginal costing principle. And under each of them, there are some theories you must understand. So when it comes to make or buy, there are theories there. When it comes to limiting factor, there are theories there. Break-even analysis, BOBO, there are theories there. We come to outsourcing decisions as a theory area, pricing decision, theory area. That is short-term decisions, 20 marks. Which one would the examiner bring? I don't know. But you must know all of them, applying the marginal costing principle, because the examiner can bring any of them in the exam hall, depending on how excited the examiner is. But that is the fourth aspect of our syllabus for 20 marks, short-term decisions. Then we come to performance management, which is also 20 marks, and that is question 1, always in the exam hall. Performance management. That's also 20 marks, and it's always question 1. So your question 1 is performance management, always for 20 marks. Now, this is divided into probably 3 main categories. The first area is where we are dealing with the issue about organizational appraisal or organizational performance measurement. So if we want to assess the entire organization's performance, how do we do it? And we can use both financial and non-financial performance indicators. Okay, so we can rely on either the balance scorecard to have that holistic performance measurement, or use the Fitzgerald and Moon building block. Okay, Fitzgerald and Moon building block to analyze the whole performance of the organization. That's the first aspect we need to understand. Last semester, it was organizational performance that the examiner brought. In November, the examiner brought, I think, divisionalization, which is the second area, the concept of divisionalization. So companies have various divisions. How do we assess the performance of the divisional managers or the division as a whole? So performance management is very important here, or performance measurement. This is where you are going to use RI, ROI to assess the entity's performance. And then we come to the issue in respect of transfer pricing. So when an entity is selling, when a division is selling to another division, at what price should they sell it to them? Divisionalization, transfer pricing. Then the last thing is performance measurement for not-for-profit making organization. And so the 20 marks area that is going to come in the exam hall will come in from these 3 areas. Last semester, it was a whole organizational performance for 20 marks. Then the examiner brought another 5-mark question on how you analyze the performance of not-for-profit making organizations using the 3E, economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. But that is our question 1 area, performance measurement. Please note, there is a lot of material here. A lot of theories to go through, because balance scorecard, Fitzgerald and Moon building block, concept of divisionalization, and calculations here. So we have a lot of theories as well as calculations here when it comes to performance measurement. And that is question 1 for us coming in the exam hall for 20 marks. Then certainly the last one is 15 marks, the role of the management accountant in the public sector. Okay? The role of the management accountant in the public sector. That's 15 marks. Technically, here we are going to be getting excited into project appraisal in the public sector. Okay? And then, so these are some of the things there. How do we appraise projects in the public sector? We have the cost-benefit analysis. We have the cost-outcome analysis. We have the cost-effectiveness analysis. Then dealing with the issues about externalities and other things. Those are the things there. Here also, we have a lot of theories that you must understand, and then some calculation-related questions that you must understand. These are the things that we must know about when it comes to management accounting, the scope of the syllabus, the structure of the examination, and how the topics are knitted together. So, to pass the management accounting examination, what do you need? First, you must understand that there are going to be written comment theory questions in the exam hall, and there will be some calculation questions. Because of that, you have to be learning them alongside. So you don't say, oh, I'm learning this and I'll learn this one later on. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be learning them alongside. Then the structure of the syllabus. Note, before you get excited in any management accounting thing, make sure you understand accounting for overheads. Make sure you know about cost classification. Make sure you know about preparation of the cost sheet and the cost card and the profit statement using absorption costing, marginal costing, and activity-based costing. That's the beginning. Once you are okay with these, then you can start contemporary issues, budgeting, variance analysis, and then certainly short-term decisions, a lot of things there. Then you can come to performance measurement and then the management accountant role. These are the things that you must understand about management accounting. So how should you study it? I've already given you the blueprint. You start with those introductory issues that I mentioned. As I said, all of those contents are available in our mobile application. Okay? Are available in our mobile application. So you can get access to all of these content. And that is how we're going to start the journey. From there, you can start looking at all of the other aspects. Remember, you have to be studying on your own alongside the live lectures that you are going to be partaking also in. But that is management accounting and what we need to understand there. For those of you on the live call, if there are any questions, you put it in the comment section or the chat box for me, and I'm going to be providing you with some answers. So let's go to the second subject, and that is strategic case study. This is also another paper with the pass rate even below management accounting. Strategic case study. It's an interesting paper. What you must understand in respect of strategic case study also is that, as the name suggests, strategic case study. But actually, strategic case study is the final paper you are expected to write before you become a chartered accountant. Why is that the case? Because strategic case study is a combination of many other things that you've learned already. What does that mean? It means that there is a significant portion of the syllabus that you have already learned. So you're going to be seeing some management accounting issues here. You will see things in financial management here. All right. Sources of finance, investment appraisal, risk management, and treasury issues. You must understand that in that regard. Okay. Then we move on to management accounting, financial reporting. Then we move on to some corporate reporting or financial reporting understanding. Okay. Let me stay with corporate reporting. Why? Because you could be asked to do ratio analysis. You could be asked to prepare or present some financial statements. So that's there. You must know that. So some management accounting issues, some financial management issues, some corporate reporting issues, then certainly introduction to management business management and information system in level 1. Okay? Business management and information system in level 1. Some of the things there coming up here. So case study is bringing together all of these things. So if you are just there looking at baby, kafo, mbomamiete case study, you're going to screw it up. You must understand that you may need knowledge from management accounting, financial management, corporate reporting, and then level 1, business management and information system. And that's what you need to understand in that case. What does that mean? It means before I get excited into the breakdown of the syllabus, to pass the strategic case study examination, it is important you revise these basic topics or revise some topics in these areas as per the syllabus. And I'm going to be going through that with you. So you must revise the other subjects. And that is why we've taken efforts to include some of the key topics that you need to understand in these subjects in the mobile application as well as on our portal under strategic case study. So those key topics that you must understand under management accounting, financial management, introduction, business management and information system level 1. All those basic issues that you need to understand, we have them and adding videos about them continuously that you must know about. Because those things may not be covered directly in your strategic case study class, but you will go to the strategic case study exam and you will see them there. It is not like your lecturer did not do a good job, but it is, you are supposed to know about it because it is in your syllabus. And that is what we need to understand here. And so if you look at, again, for instance, last semester, what the examiner brought, before I go there, let me also add the third thing. So number one is a combination of subjects. Number two, you have to revise those other subjects, some key topics there. Number three is for you to make sure that you know that there will be a pre-scene, or what can also be referred to as advanced information. So the examiner is going to be presenting us, or ICA will present us with advanced information. It's called a pre-scene. What many people do, and the reason why a lot of people fail the examination, is they wait. 2 weeks to the exam, the pre-scene is going to be released. This is 2 weeks to the main exam. It's going to be released. And the purpose of the pre-scene is to help you to have an understanding of the industry, the entity, and the various issues that you must understand. But your pre-scene analysis is not an indication of what is going to be happening in the exam, or because nobody cares about the analysis of the pre-scene. Okay? Nobody cares. This is it. Nobody cares about your analysis of the pre-scene. Make sure you understand the contents in the syllabus. That's it. And the reason why many people fail the case study examination is because they just wait. But the pre-scene is going to be released 2 weeks to the exam, and that is to help you to have an understanding of exactly what is going on in the case, in the story. Now, there is a video available, again, in our mobile application, as well as I think on the portal, on how to analyze the pre-scene, right? I'll be giving you some blueprint in the class, but you can also watch that ahead of time so you have an understanding of what you are supposed to do as we are going through these exercises. So that's what you need to understand. So last semester, for instance, you see the exam. In the exam hall, you have the pre-scene plus additional information, then you see the questions. And so these are the questions the examiner brought last semester. That's March 2025. There were 5 questions, each of them 20 marks, covering various areas of the syllabus. Not your analysis of the pre-scene, various areas of the syllabus. So what I want you to really take away about case study is that it is the final paper. It is a combination of subjects. You need to revise those other subjects pretty well, and you need to make sure that you know how to use the pre-scene and expect, or what to expect in the exam hall. But what is the breakdown of the syllabus? The case study syllabus is also divided into 5 major categories. 5 major categories. The first category is strategy analysis. Strategy analysis. Now, this is 20 marks area, very huge area. There are a lot of things that we need to look out for here, as well as a couple of models that you need to be mindful of. And so under strategic analysis, you are going to be getting excited into some models. Let me see if I can bring this slide up. You're going to be getting excited into some models like the macro environment pistol analysis, like the competitive environment Porter's 5 forces, like the internal environmental analysis SWOT analysis. Okay? Some ethical issues and some other issues, corporate social responsibilities as well here, Porter's diamond analysis, and we're going to be getting a breakdown of these as well as we proceed in the discussion. So that's strategic analysis. A lot of material there that we need to know about and a lot of models there. Once we are able to analyze the environment and the various capacities of the entity, we come to strategic choice. What are the alternative choices available to the company? And that's the second part, strategic choice. Here, we are going to also be highlighting a couple of models, like the Ansoff growth matrix, like the BCG matrix, like the Porter's generic strategies, and a lot of issues here. Then strategy into action. Why? Because now we know what we are supposed to do. Let's implement the strategy. And that is where strategy into action comes in. And when we are implementing the strategy, it is important we talk about issues in relation to change management and the various change management theories that you have to be mindful of. Then it comes to financial objectives. This area is financial management, financial reporting, or corporate reporting together. So you see some financial management issues there, some corporate reporting issues there. Analyzing performance and position of the entity and all of those things, ratio analysis and all of those things there. Then certainly the last aspect, corporate governance. And so this is the breakdown and how the examiner is going to be dealing with us in the exam or when it comes to strategic case study. And so, as I mentioned, you must know that it's a collection of subjects. You must know that you need to revise the key topics in those subjects. You must know that there will be a precinct. And it's largely going to be a reading issue. And so you have to read. Why is this important? Because number one, you need to understand the topics in the syllabus. That's the first thing. So when they say analyze the strategic capacity of the entity, you know what to do. When they say calculate the using money market hedge, find out what the entity should do in respect of hedging against foreign exchange risk, you know what you're supposed to do. Understanding the topics in the syllabus. Number two, you need to be aware of the questions that the examiner is likely to ask. Okay? So understand the context of the questions. So the context of questions that the examiner is going to be asking. So if the examiner asks you to analyze the strategic capacity of the entity, how do you answer that question? What is the context of the question? If the examiner asks you to analyze the competitive nature of the entity and the strategies that the entity should adopt, how do you answer that? So understanding the context of the questions, because a lot of people do digression. And it is very easy to digress in strategic case study. Very easy, because your brain is going to lie to you. Oh, the examiner is asking me this. When in reality, the examiner is asking something else. I hope you are getting what I'm saying here. Understanding the context of the question. And that is why one thing we do here is assignments, performance evaluation test, because we have to see. And that links to the third one, writing out the answer. So the structure of answering the questions. How do you write your answer? What is the scope of the write-up the examiner expects you to write about? Like how much? So there is a question that the examiner has here. Let's go to the March 2025 question. Say you are looking at question 3. Question 3B. It says, explain 5 reasons why diversification strategy is appropriate and 3 factors that could make diversification strategy inappropriate for 10 marks. 5. So you need 5 reasons. 3. So you need 3 reasons. But how much should you write? What points do you bring up? What should you talk about? That's what we mean by understanding the structure of answering the questions. Then number 4, it's going to be planning in the exam hall and time management. So in addition to studying consistently, understanding the topics in the syllabus, you must also familiarize yourself with the structure of the questions that the examiner is going to be asking. Then you must also know how to write out your answers. There are some of you, all you do is you don't do anything. You wait when the analysis comes, that is where you are going to be serious. You attend analysis class. You alone, you have 7 analyses before you. And then you be on the analysis. You go to the exam hall, Zokbo. Then you go and fail. But you are still doing the same thing. And that is the part that hurts me a lot. That people are seeing that what you are doing, what you are doing is not giving you the results you want, but you are still doing it. Why? Because the book is too big. When I pick the book, I don't know where to learn. Yeah. You will pick the book and not know where to learn because you don't have a steady plan. You will pick a book and not know where to learn because you are not disciplined enough. You will pick the book and you don't know what to learn because you are not taking responsibility for what you are doing. Because case study is not a playground. It's one of the most difficult papers in the ICAG examination. Why? Because it's bringing everything together. It's bringing out the best in you. And so these are the 4 things that I want you to be mindful of. And throughout our discussion in strategic case study, understanding the topics, you will be guided. You will be told the structure of the questions. You will be given opportunity to write out your answers. We will mark the script. We will go through. We will laugh at you. Grammar, everything. We will discuss it together. And then you will be guided on how to plan your answer in the exam hall and also deal with time management. That is what you must understand when it comes to strategic case study. So please, I want to impress on you. I don't care how many times you have written this paper, maybe 5 times, 6 times, at one time, or this is your first time. I don't care. I don't care what the heck somebody has also told you about the paper. One thing I know is this. If you are disciplined and you follow instruction and you take responsibility and you go through these 4 steps, I can guarantee you go to the exam hall and you pass the examination. Because again, if you think you're going to do some analysis and take it into the exam hall, nobody cares about your analysis of the precinct. Make sure you understand the content of the syllabus. And these are the things you must understand when it comes to strategic case study. Any questions for me? Those of you on the call, if there are any questions, you put it in the chat for me or in the comment section for me. So let me see. I'm seeing a comment coming in from here. Kwame Prince, I always fear management accounting. Please help me. I think I've already done that. Okay? I've already done that. What you need to do to pass the management accounting examination, we've done it. If you follow the guidelines that I've given, attend lectures. Okay? Attend the lectures. Get access to quality materials. Join our community. Let me mentor you, hold your hand, provide you with the blueprints that you need to pass the examination. Fear is not the way to go. It's not the way to go. But I've given you the blueprint already, what you need to do to pass the management accounting examination. Follow the blueprint. Understand the basic topics. Know how to go through the syllabus and how each of the topics connect with each other. And most importantly, the structure of the questions that the examiner is going to be bringing. And don't wait 2 weeks to the exam hall before you start studying, because you become fearful because you are ill prepared. Cross over the period, you'll be in the position to go into the exam hall, write the exam with confidence. Our enrollment is still ongoing. You can register to start studying under my mentorship for the July 2025 examination. You can send us a message on WhatsApp. The number is below in the description of this video, the first link, or you can also see the number on the screen, 050-114-9296, and send us a message, call us, let's guide you, and then provide you with a mentorship that you need to be able to pass the examination. Our live lectures for the exam is starting on the 7th of April 2025, and we're going to be running for 12 weeks, going through the syllabus, solving questions, doing performance evaluation tests, and also putting ourselves in the position to pass the examination by the time we get there. So that's it about that. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow. There will be a video released on the channel tomorrow, so you make sure that you subscribe, hit back, and then check out that video as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the live stream some other time.